to match some pretty hot racing. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin with the 11.72 and 7.50 formula race. Driving techniques varied greatly, from a touch of the Fangio to a touch of the Gilhooly. That was Major Mallock trying a little low flying with his U2. As Mallock climbs back onto the tarmac, Lodge Corner begins to look like something out of BBC Dancing Club. A few people were still pointing the right way at the finish, and Small won the 11.72 class and Berry the 7.50. All this proved too much for one car, which deposited its crankcase on the finishing line. The Mallock rotary grass cutter. Heavily disguised as the secretary of the meeting is Tom Dooley. But seriously, Tom, you're doing a grand job. Also doing a grand job were Ian Smith and Centre Chairman John Ellison, both of whom are a fine body of men. Back to the racing as the saloons come cascading round on lap 1. As the day went on, things became more and more hairy at Lodge Corner. But if you think the saloons were dodgy, just focus on the sports and GT race. Dr. Livingston, I presume. And so at last, competitors returned their cars to the paddock. Time to pack up at the end of a day of most exciting racing with the Northwestern Centre. And now to Wiscombe Park in Devon for the Southwestern Centre's September hill climb. The mobile control van marks the start of this 1,000-yard hill. Off the launching pad and up to the first left-hander. Out of the trees again and up the 90-mile-an-hour straight leading to the woods. Out of the S's and we're into Sawbench hairpin, which requires full lock and a steady nerve. Castle Straight is again flat out with heavy braking for the final hairpin. A gradient of 1 in 6 for the last leap over the finish. Ken Clark, the centre chairman, uncorks his lunch. Brian Watts and Eric Hammond sort things out in the paddock.
Do you like it? I knitted it myself.
Major Chichester in the HWM. It's his front garden, so he ought to know the way up. Fastest time of the day went to Liddell in his Formula 2 Cooper in a time of 53.7 seconds. And so to packing up. Some backed it in the boot, while others booted it in the back. We take our leave of Wiscombe Park and the Southwestern Centre for another year. Brands Hatch and the 6-hour saloon car race. Pouring rain turned this event into the 6-hour squelch. But the crowds had plenty of excitement. Just time for a mini meal before the start. Question of the day was, how would the Galaxies handle in the wet? Refueling was quite a feature of this race, and several king-sized tankers were a new sight on the pit road. Mike Salmon was one of a top international entry, which included Gurney in the Alan Brown Galaxy, Cabela, Lancia Flamina, the Leston Haynes Wilmont Cortina, and the Claire Rutt Mini S. That's one way to get a more upright driving position. Seconds to go before the start, and American Colonel Lucia is at home in his Galaxy. At Paddock Bend, Bailey holds off Salmon and the rest of the pack. Down from Druids, the Galaxy holds its lead, and the track is bulging with saloons. Lap 2, and the Jaguars of Salmon and Lindler slip past Bailey into the lead. This wasn't Galaxy weather, and their superior power was proving an embarrassment, as Gurney demonstrated in a big way. Gurney gets going again, but only to tour round to his pit for a change of footwear on the Galaxy. Gurney rejoins the race with wet weather tyres all round. You should have entered your lifeboat, mate. It's the weather for it. Pit stops added excitement to the proceedings as competitors stole seconds by fast work. The Salmon Sutcliffe Jaguar takes off again in the lead. At least some gentlemen managed to keep dry. At At the end of the 6 hours, the order still showed Salmon in the lead with the Jaguar, and Jaguars were in second and third places too. The Galaxies were way back. Salmon steps out of the winning 3.8 after 6 damp hours. And the 1600cc class winners, Trana and Scoa, bring in the Volvo. A short-lived victory, as Salmon's Jaguar was disqualified, putting Salvadori and Hume into first place. Mallory Park and the July International meeting with an entry list which included many top drivers. The editor of Motor discusses the 3-hour mini-race with John Ailey. An oil change for the engine? No, they're going to keep the oil and just change the engine. First on the programme was the 3-hour race for saloons under 850cc. As the pack moves away from the start, one of the Fiats makes its first pit stop. Carlson in the Saab leads on lap 1. Ian Smith focuses on Rothstein as he turns the Saab into a 3-wheeler. Half distance, and a Mini comes in to refuel at the Southwood service station. Oh, and there's Mini juice everywhere. The Saab, still saving rubber. At the end of the race, the Fiat is back in the pits as the flag goes out for the winning Saab. Rothstein receives the cup from the editor of Motor after a brilliant drive in his Saab. And there's another prize, but he's got to give that one back. Highlight of the meeting was the Grovewood Trophy race for GT cars, with Ferrari and Jaguar battling for the honours. Graham Hill, Jaguar lightweight, and his main opponent, Jack Sears in the GTO Ferrari. Halfway round lap 1, the order is Salvadori, Sears, Hill. Round Devil's Elbow, the lead goes to Sears, with Hill and Salvadori in pursuit. But by half distance, Hill had taken his E-Type into the lead. And so, the Grovewood Trophy goes to Graham Hill in the Jaguar. But the E-Type isn't quite big enough for Hill and his hedge. On to the start of the Molly Slip Trophy Saloon Race, a desperate affair with minis as far as the eye can see. Now watch what happens when Christabel Carlisle and Hopkirk share the same corner. But Hopkirk is first into the hairpin. By half distance, everybody was having a go. First place went to Hopkirk in the works-entered Mini S, with Tim Mayer second, also in a works entry. First event of the day was the all-comers saloon race.
I washed the Mini last night, and now I can't do a thing with it.
And they're off the line in a cloud of rubber smoke. John Young's Anglia leads Powell's Jaguar at Paddock Bend. Luckiest man of the day was Chris Kraft, who stepped out of his rolled Cortina without harm. As Chris Kraft dusts himself down, John Young comes in as first winner of the day. Next into battle, the Appendix J Saloons, another Galaxy versus Jaguar affair, with Jim Clark trying his skill on a Galaxy. Oh look, it's just like the Kingston bypass. First time round, Clark holds off Sears for the lead. Everyone wanted the other chap's piece of road. Another Cortina bites the dust, but Haynes stepped out unhurt. Claire has a bit of map reading trouble at Druids. Powell retires the Jaguar and takes a shortcut back to the pits. Sears fell out with a puncture, and Clark has an easy victory. Another win for the fastest shepherd in the world. As the transporters roll away from Brands Hatch, we roll north to Cadwell Park and close our film with a visit to the northern centre. It's ever so quiet and peaceful at Cadwell Park. Except on race days. But that was only practice, and George Johnson and John Watt prepare for the serious stuff. The Formula Junior race, and Roy James, known to his friends as the Weasel, makes a splendid getaway on the outside. Ah, he's taking the pretty route. Bywater in the Lotus joins the Cadwell Rotary Club. And Roy James is proving hard to catch. And so, Roy James weaselly wins the race. It's all over. You can stop spinning now. James receives the Sheffield Telegraph Trophy from Charles Wilkinson. And so we say farewell to Roy James and to the Sheffield Telegraph Trophy. At this point, somebody struck oil in the paddock. Now we're away again with the sports cars, and once more the fun is fast and furious.
Put me down. You don't know where I've been.
And so, to end our visit to Cadwell Park, and to close our film for another year, let's take a last look at the saloons. Well, that's one way to empty the ashtrays.